So my goal today is to show you how to use Google Sheets to analyze some data from a lab. Now the specific lab I'm using today is a lab that we did in class where you can essentially we dropped a ball from the same height every time. I believe that the group that I've chosen here did 1 meter. So they dropped the ball 1 meter. There were a variety of different balls that were all the same size, yet they were different densities. And so therefore you can see here that each one had a different mass. But they did all more or less have the same size. They had the same diameter and dropped from the same height in the same location with basically the same process. So our goal here was to find out what is the acceleration of gravity on each of those balls and how does mass affect the acceleration of gravity on different objects. So that's what we're looking at. We gathered data on mass and time. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is I put all my information down, but I want to be able to get an average time, okay? So you can either do this in a different table or you can put it right here. Now on Sheets, all you have to do is this. You type equals in the cell that you're on, and look, it actually knows exactly what I want. It says average, and then it goes from B2 to G2. Now, if it didn't say that, then I would just type AVERAGE, and then I would put a parentheses, and then I would highlight the cells that I want it to average there. So it's going to average all the times. Sorry, not those. Good thing I didn't take that. Sorry. We want just the times here. There we go. And so then you should get that. So that automatically averages those. Now, if it didn't do this, you could do the same thing for each of the other balls. But what you'll notice is that it has a suggested autofill. I'm going to say, yep, go ahead and take that. And when I click on those, like you'll notice, for example, up here, it shows what formula it used. It used average C5 to G5. So it's doing the average of C5, so that's C5 right there, all the way over to G5. So that's actually what I wanted. It anticipated. A lot of times, Google Sheets, Excel, they can actually predict what you want to do next based off of how your table is set up. So I've got the average times now. Now, remember with the average times, what we wanted to do was we wanted to calculate the acceleration. All right. Now this is calculated. This is not measured. So we're using Suvat equations. I have the time. I have the height from which it was dropped. So my height from which it was dropped is 1 meter. I have the time, which is in the table. Okay, I'm going to be using the average times there. I know the initial velocity. Oops, that's not what I want to do. I know the initial velocity. And I can't do subscripts here, so I'll just put the V0. I know the initial velocity is 0, and I'm looking for acceleration. So I want the equation that has that. The equation that has that would likely be the S equals the V naught T plus 1/2 A T squared. So that little, we call that a carrot top. That's what we use to do the squared. So that's the equation I'm going to use. Because the initial velocity was 0, this is going to simplify to this. Now you don't have to put the equation on here, but I put it there so that you could see at some point you do kind of write down an example of your work. So this would be it. So I've got S equals 1/2 A T squared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my distance, which is 1 meter. I'm going to multiply that by 1/2. So that's going to make it 2S equals, divide by 1/2 because I got a 1/2 here. I'm going to move it to the other side. So that's 2S equals A T squared. And then I want the A by itself, so I'm going to divide by T squared. So if I rearrange that, it's going to look like A equals 2S divided by T squared. Okay, now this part you probably would have done on your own paper. I'm doing it here on the sheet because you can't see what I'm writing. So that's essentially what we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, ball 4, ball 5. I'm just going to copy that down here. And then I'm going to take the masses, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create the table that I'm going to use to create my graph. All right. So I've got my masses there. I just did Command C and Command V to copy and paste that. And then here I'm going to put the acceleration, which will be in meters per second squared. All right. Now, in order to do that, I need to follow the equation that I had right here. So I'm going to go equals 2 times S. Remember, S was 1 meter. And then divided by the time. Now, that time is the average time. So I'm going to take this time right here. Notice if I click on that, it automatically takes that, whatever is in that cell, that's H2. And then I go caret top. For those that don't know the caret top, it's shift 6 and then squared. And so what that's going to do is it's automatically going to calculate it for me, just like that. Okay, again, I'm going to go with the suggested autofill, but I'm going to double check to make sure that it actually gave me what I wanted. So here, this one, it says I'm going to take 2, which is correct, times 1, which is the height, divided by, here it wants HS2, so H5, so H5 is right here, that's ball 4, that is what I wanted, so it is calculating what I wanted. Now that's a lot of digits there, so I'm actually going to highlight this, and so if it gets a little messy like that, you can play with the number of decimal places by clicking this button right here. You can see the 0 with the arrow to the left. So I probably don't need many more decimal points than the tenths. All right. Now at this point, I'm ready to put it into a graph. And so I've got my calculations done. Now I can put it into a graph. And so I'm going to highlight that section right there. And then so that's just click on that and then drag it over just like that. And then I will go insert chart. Now, it kind of tries to guess at what type of graph that you want. I do not want a bar chart. In this class, I will probably never want a bar or column chart. What I always want is a scatter plot. Okay, now you'll notice that it will automatically do this for you. It'll automatically scale it. It will automatically put the points in the right order. Right here, they are in the right order. I did 2.5, 20.5. That is increasing. If I didn't have these in order, they would automatically be plotted properly in the graph. So that's one of the reasons why I like using sheets. It will automatically do that for you. Excel does the same thing. All right, so at this point, I've got all the data points in there. Now, what you can see is maybe what you expected, but maybe not, right? Most people expect that as it gets heavier, it should drop faster, it should have more acceleration. That, in general, is not what we're seeing. It is true that that is the highest acceleration that there is, but if you look at all the other data points in between, they're all jumping up and down just quite a bit, right? If I look at my data, and this you can include kind of in your analysis later, you notice that the average time is 0.39, right? Now, it goes all the way up to 0.43 and all the way down to 0.34, right? So it's going up and down 0.4, 0.5, right? All of my average times are within that range, right? If you take that 0.43, every single one of my data points is less than that. That's a pretty good sign that these values are basically the same, right? Now that I have a graph, I do want to be able to interpret it. Now, generally speaking, I do want a line of best fit. Now, from my purposes, when I'm looking at this, I'm actually thinking, you know what? That looks like a pretty darn straight line to me, right? It looks like it's almost horizontal, that the data isn't varying very much, all right? Unfortunately, we don't have a way that we can do that easily in Excel. So what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tell it to put in the best fit line. So if you click on the data points, okay, if you double click on the data points, it'll bring up series here. Now, what it's doing, you can see that it's the series is the y values. It's graphing acceleration as the y values right now. And so if you scroll down just a little bit, it'll allow you to add a trend line. And then with the trend line, it'll then allow you to use an equation. And you'll notice that it does add in a line. It's not perfectly horizontal, but I think it's close enough for our needs. If you look right here, it gave me an equation. The equation is y equals mx plus b. So the slope there is 7.79 times 10 to the negative third power. That's 0.00779. That's a pretty small slope. That's pretty close to zero. If the slope was zero, it would be perfectly horizontal. So my thoughts here, and you can discuss this later, is that this is basically a horizontal graph, that there is no relationship between mass and acceleration. One of the things I would like for you to do, because the data sheet does ask us to do an appropriate graph. So what I need you to do is I need you to go in and double click on the horizontal axis, and this should show up. Now on the horizontal axis, I want a couple of things. Number one, I want to make sure to see the whole range. So I want to go, I think right now the graph is starting at 2.5. I want to start at 0 so I can see that 0, 0 mark. And then I'm going to allow it to go, I need it to go a little higher than 86. So I'm going to change the minimum so that it goes from 0 up to 90. You'll see now I can actually see the y-axis. It's given me some nice marks here so that I can see the values there. I think that's important. The other thing that I would like to see here is I would like to see a label, which it's not giving me a label right now. And so therefore what I need to do is I need to go into the setup. And if you go into the setup, then it should allow you to, let's see, where are we? Sorry, no, I need to go into the chart and axis titles. So the chart title is going to be how it's going to be acceleration dependent on mass for, and I want to be as specific as I can, for dropping balls of same size but different mass 1 meter. All right. Now, you may say, well, isn't that a really long title? Yeah, but if you read that title, you know exactly what this graph is representing. You'll notice it has my dependent variable, it has my independent variable, it has my control, and it has my methodology. So it's kind of like my question there, but this is not stated as a question. It's just, here it is. I had a question about how does mass affect acceleration if I'm dropping balls of the same size but different mass over a distance of 1 meter. Now I've done it. So here's the data. All right. We should then be able to go in here and we can change the titles. So I'll go into the horizontal axis. And so for the horizontal axis, that was the mass down there. So I'm going to put mass in grams. Okay, and you see that that gives me that right there. And then I click on the same thing and I go vertical axis. The vertical axis was, I'm going to actually write calculated acceleration, because I did calculate it, and that's in meters per second squared, just like that. And so now I've got titles. I think the graph's given me a nice representation of what I was looking for. And so from here, you should be ready to go ahead and just finish answering the questions in the lab. All right, my goal was to show you how to use sheets. Hopefully I've been able to do that, and that makes a little bit of sense. We also talked about the fact that even though the best fit line is not perfectly horizontal, given the spread of the data and kind of the way that the points jump around here, I expect that there's probably no relationship between acceleration and mass, that the acceleration is essentially the same for every single object. All right, so I hope that was helpful for you, and we'll see you next time.